This is Scott Farms 2021 peanut harvest. Today's date is October the 13th, 2021. And they have 5 of their pickers out picking a field of peanuts down in the Faceville community south of BAINBRIDGE, Georgia. This is the same field that I filmed them inverting. I guess it's been about a week and a half ago. They inverted this field, and we had a front come through and kind of hung around for a while. They had like 5 days of rain. Not all of it was heavy rain, but it was enough, probably about 4 inches total. And they hadn't been able to get in this field yet, and they're still kind of struggling with it. They're crawling. As you can see, there's not much dust coming from these pickers compared to what they normally are, and that's because the peanut vines up on the bottom side where they touch the ground are still pretty damp. They're not wet, but they're still damp, and they're having to make a slow go of it to get these peanuts harvested. Truthfully, they need to have a vine conditioner run through it, or a reshaker run up to lift them up off the ground and set them back down so those vines will dry. But when you got this many acres, reshaking is something you try not to do if you can possibly help it. But we've got some good weather this week, good drying weather anyway. Got some pretty decent breeze, and fairly good temperatures. I think today it was supposed to be 85 or 86. I don't think it quite got up that high. It doesn't feel like it. It feels really, really good today. Humidity's down. But this field is very flat, and it has some lower spots in it that collect water pretty bad. And I come by this field every afternoon on my way home from work, and I'm familiar with it because I've actually driven tractors out in this field before. Not harvesting peanuts, but moldboard plowing years and years and years ago. And I know it fairly well. Now, I knew the previous owners that owned it, and their farming practices on it over the years. But kind of where these 3 pickers are sitting on the back there, that is a fairly low spot in this field. When I say low, it doesn't have to be very low. I mean, just a 2 foot elevation difference can mean the world out here. But like I said, they're kind of struggling along. They're getting it done. They started on the other side of this pivot. There's 2 of these tractors. Well, as you're looking at them to your left, they started on that side, and I guess that they were just too damp in spots, and they gave up and moved to this side of the field. And I always was under the impression this side of the field set lower than that side did. But maybe there's a spot out there that is holding water pretty bad. I have seen this particular field so wet back in the 90s that about where that far picker is to the right, after a tropical system came through during peanut harvest season, this field was already inverted before the tropical system developed out there, and it dumped inches and inches of rain. I don't even remember how much, but it was probably at least 6 to 10 inches of rain. And these peanuts sit here and sit here and sit here, and they just could not get in the field. And at that time they were using, the guy that was farming it and owned it was using one AMADAS 6-shooter, 6-row peanut combine. That's what he harvested his peanuts with. And they actually had to hook a tractor in front of it. I don't remember what they were using about that time, but if I'm not mistaken, it was either 8400s, John Deere, or it could have been still using some of the 4960s at that particular time. But they connected one 4-wheel drive tractor in front of the other one by a tow strap and had to pull it through the field, and it was, the rear axle on it was dragging. The tires really wasn't even turning. And they eventually put up under the axle on the combine a sheet of 1/4-inch plate that kind of worked like a skid. So when it sunk down, that skid would kind of just slide on top of the mud without digging in. And they harvested about 80% of this field that way. Just one of those years you struggle with just to get the crop out of the field. It wasn't pretty. There were ruts 3 foot deep. But if you look at these peanuts going in, you can see they're not there's no green left at all. It's more of a dark brown. And usually that dark brown means that they've got wet. You see a few pieces of green every now and then. And the funny thing about those old 6-shooter AMADAS peanut combines, they used to have big floater tires on them. I believe they were 43 inches wide. They were a lot bigger than these 35, 32s that they have on these. Weren't as tall, but they were wide. Well, I'm fixing to have one of their semis come by, so I'm probably going to cut this video off here. Yep, they got one loaded and it's gone. And their normal picking speed is usually about 1.5 to 2 miles an hour, and I think they're cruising now at about 1 mile an hour. And also, since these things have been rained on, peanuts once the vines get wet, it makes it harder to remove the peanut from the peanut vine or the peanut plant. They're held by a little tendril that's attached to the vine going to the nut, and they get tough after they get old. They also have the issue of when they get dry like this, which I don't think these are so dry yet that they're shelling, but peanuts can get so dry in their shell that when this machine picks them, it will either shell them in the combine, and I have seen it to where just the force of the fans blowing these peanuts up in these baskets, especially when right after they empty their baskets, it'll be throwing the peanuts up against the metal of the basket, and it will just shell every single one of them. The only way you can really, I ain't gonna say remedy it, but reduce it, is not completely empty your peanut hopper. If you leave, say, 10 to 20% in the hopper, that 20% stays on the side to where it blows the peanuts against, and it'll fill up faster and reduce the amount that it shells. You lose some productivity, but the quality of your nuts go up. And all these tractors, I believe, let's see if I can get it right, I believe there's 2 8R 280s on these combines and 4 8R 310s. And the dump carts are one 8 320R and the other's an 8 370R. They have a 6 combine. It's one of their AMADAS AR 2200 rotary combines, but for some reason they have not been using it a lot this year. I've caught them running it in the field one time, and that's kind of surprising because that's supposed to be the next big technology for peanut harvesting, but I've heard some talk from other farmers and other people that are in the industry that says the quality of the peanuts, it reduces the quality of the peanuts being sold. I don't know if that's because it's shelling out peanuts, or maybe it's just damaging them in some other way. It's the only thing I can figure if it would be a quality issue. drive for somebody else. Looks like a trailer that belongs to Bergson Peanuts out of Colquitt, Georgia. Must be one of the Florida farmers. This field is only maybe 2 miles, mile and a half to 2 miles from the Florida state line. You can see them unloading on the go. I don't know, he must have an issue. They don't usually raise their basket up when they're dumping unless they're trying to clean out the basket. Changing fields or something. Not sure what he's doing. thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and check out some other videos on YouTube under South Georgia Farming. Thanks for watching.